Yo, this your boy Icy Ghost 19. So I wanted to talk about grandma actually. My grandma Kim, and I wanted to talk about, three instances that made me feel safe around her. And she has been my rock for so many years. Okay. So one of them was when I was younger, and me and her, like, I would watch movies with her, TV shows with her, all this different stuff, and every time, like every time I would come over, it would just be me watching stuff with her. And don't get me wrong, it was other grandkids and everything, but I don't know. I just remember being around my grandma 24/7, and the bond was there. Like it's been there since day one, and even though we get into it and everything, it's still there. Just different instances, and even when I was suspended or this and that, or when I was in trouble or I didn't want to be at my mom's house, my grandma was there. Um, I remember an instant when I was in middle school, sixth grade. I think we're going on Christmas break, if I remember correctly. I think it was Christmas break or something. Um, so it was about 2012, I believe, because it was about to be 2013. I just turned 12. Okay, so what is it? So I asked my mom to go down for Christmas break. My mom said no, quote unquote. I didn't want to be in Coopersville. If I was in Coopersville, I didn't want to be in Coopersville. Um, Me and my stepdad didn't like each other. You know, really, he wasn't even a stepdad. He was more of an asshole, a dick my mom married. I still can't stand the bastard. But my mom married the guy. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me, um, uh, the why, because I still don't know the why. Because to me, he looked like a golf ball, you know, a big baked potato with the head, the motherfucker wasn't a looker. Let's just say it like that. And so I remember this instinct of everything, and the instinct was me and him got into it. I can't remember why, but we got into it, and I was already in a bad mood. Like I did not want to be there, and me and him got into it, like really got into it, and the bastard me, like we talked crap, we this and that, but I did not like him, so I ended up running away that night. And so we're in Coopersville, but I ended up running away from home. It's kind of bad outside, not a blizzard, but it wasn't easy driving that night. I remember that, and I wasn't driving, but I know the roads was terrible walking, so driving was going to be a bitch, and it was a pain. And so my mom goes chasing after me, And so, like, I cut through these different fields and stuff, and I'm talking about my shoes got wet and everything. And I made it to a police station. And so my mom followed me. She seen me, and I'm running in. And I finally got in the police station. And the police station, how they had it was a little weird, but you could lock the door from the inside and then press a button to call for a deputy. But so I made it inside first, and I locked that damn door because I was not going home and dealing with that bull crap. Because I already knew I was going to get my ass whooped for making her chase me. But yeah, so I did that and everything, and so yeah. And so like I'm like just doing that. And so my mom was knocking on the door like saying, "You need to come home, we need to talk, you're in trouble." And I'm like, "No, I'm not coming home. I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to deal with the bull crap." And so we went through this, and the officer finally came over. And the officer, I just remember like, damn, why they had to send this motherfucker? Like, why they had to send this guy? And I won't even lie, he was cool, but when me and him got into it, I just didn't like him on some days. But he was cool. And so we're talking, we're doing all this and everything. And my mom's like, well, him and his stepdad got into it and blah, blah, blah. He don't want to be home. He want to be at his grandma's, blah, blah, blah. The deputy was like, okay, so he wants to be at his grandma's. Why didn't you take him to his grandma's, basically? And she was like, I wanted him home. Something about gas, or I don't know why, but she wouldn't let me go home. Go to my grandma's. So me and like they're arguing back and forth. Not really arguing, but talking back and forth, basically. And so I'm in the middle, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? Like, he's like, look, are you going home tonight? I'm like, no. He's like, why? I'm like, I don't want to be there. I don't want to deal with his ass. I can't stand him. If I go home tonight, I'm running away every time I'm at home because I don't want to be there. The deputy was like, so this is going to be a recurrence all night? I'm like, yep. I'd rather sleep in here in the police station than be at my house tonight. The deputy was like, So then the deputy was like, you know what? What about if I take him to Grand Rapids? I take him to your mom's house. I do all this. And she was like, well, I wouldn't have a problem with that. Then he said, quote unquote, you do have to pick him up though. I will not be picking him up, but I'll take him tonight. The look she gave me was like, you already catch your ass whooping regardless of if you leave tonight or come back in a week or so. You still getting that ass whooping. And I already knew it, that look of that, but I was like, I really don't care. And she said, it's up to you. But the look she gave me was, it's up to you on if you go tonight. But that ass is going to still be like completely, you still don't even have that ass whooping when you get back, and it might be intensified for the simple fact I gotta drive to Grand Rapids to pick your ass up. And the look I gave her was like, okay, I don't give a fuck. I said, okay, take me to Grand Rapids. I can't remember did we stop at my house to grab clothes or not? I don't remember. All I remember is this. We're on the way to grandma's house, but we're listening to Christmas music for 30 minutes. Don't get me wrong. I don't have a problem with Christmas music, but the mode I was in, I didn't like it. But I did also thank the officer for bringing me. And like we talked about like the situation. I'm like, I just don't like him. I can't stand him. He's an asshole. He's just a dick, a big ass dick. And he said, I agree. So we ended up like getting to my grandma's house, and we get there, blah blah blah, and one of my uncles answered the door, and he's a dumbass, but he answers the door, blah blah blah, says what, and then the deputy was like, is Kim here, Miss Kim or whatever, basically, because he said he had to make sure my grandma was actually there, but we called before to do this, and I said, can I come over? And she said, yes, you can. So blah blah blah, they let me in, and so we're in there. I get in there. The deputy finally leaves after like 10 minutes of being in the driveway or something, just making sure. And out of nowhere, my uncle was like, don't ever bring the fucking cops here again. Don't ever. Man, my grandma told him to shut the F up, basically, I don't know why I do this. To blank out, I'm confused. Never mind. But she basically told him to shut up, all this. She said, I don't care if you ever bring the cops to my house as long as you're not running away from them. But she said, you can always come here for safety. And so, like, it's been a back and forth about this. Like, I always came to my grandma for safety. Like the other time, it was 6 years later, okay? Exactly 6 years later, so November comes of 2018, okay? November comes of 2018, blah, blah, blah. And November comes of 2018, and me and my mom are fighting so much. Like we're arguing about stuff, and my mindset is I'm working about almost 35 hours a week, 40 hours a week. And like I'm working all these hours, right? And we're arguing about money and stuff. And so she's like, you need to start paying more bills. I'm like, really? Yes. And so we're talking and everything about it, and it's just me and her going back and forth and going like getting irritated at each other and stuff. So like we're going back and forth all this and everything. And so basically, we both had enough. And I said, you know what, I just need to move out. And I called my grandma that night and was like, hey, grandma, do you care if I move in? Um, the situation with me and my mom ain't working really. She's like, yeah, you can move in. You can move in. And so I'm putting my 2 week notice in at work just so, put my 2 week notice in at work. And we're talking about that and everything is going on. And what is it? A week into my 2 week notice I gave, my boss pulls me in the office, like two of them. And I'm like, ah, shit, what did I do? And I'm trying to think. What did I do? Like, I was like, did I do this? No. Did I do this? No. What the fuck did I do that landed me in the office this time? And I couldn't think of it, so I sat down and I'm like, well, what did I do? They're like, oh, you're not in trouble. I'm like, okay. Then what did I do? And quote unquote, she said nothing, but your mom approached us. I'm like, when? She's like, yesterday or something. Like, she approached both of us and said, can we talk? And we was like, they said they was dead slow, so yeah, they could talk. And they was like, she was talking and she was like, I don't want my baby boy to leave home. And like we're talking about this for 30 minutes to 40. And they're like, she seems like she's scared and doesn't want her baby boy to leave. And she wants you to stay home. And so I'm like, I don't want to, but then I'm like, maybe if I give it another chance, it would be different. Maybe if I give another, try, it would be different. Nope, it was a lie. It was a lie. So on the 10th of December, I remember this day clearly. Like clearly, it was a lovely fucking day. I just got done working a shift the night before, um, and I got off at like 2 in the morning, and I had to walk home. I had to walk home. So while me walking home from 2 in the morning was crazy. So I walked all the way home, and it was snowing. It was terrible. It was probably about, if I remember correctly, don't quote me this, but I remember walking home that night, and I think it was snowing, but it was cold. And so I lived about a good mile and a half ish or 2 miles. I don't know, from my old address. And so when I got there, I was irritated already. It was cold. I was not in the mood. Oh yeah, it was snowing because it was snowing. I remember. But so yeah, yeah. Um, so it was snowing badly, all this and that. And so I woke up and I went in the kitchen. It was my mom and her sister in there. And my mom, as soon as I woke up, it's like 12 o'clock. I got work in like at 4-ish. It's 12 o'clock. I got work at 4. And she's like, that trash needs to be taken out. I'm like, okay. She's like, the dishes need to be done. I'm like, okay. And she said, the living room needs to be clean. I'm like, okay. She's like, what is up with your attitude? I'm like, I'm kind of confused. Like, I'm really confused. And she's like, why are you confused? You live here. You need to start doing stuff. I'm like, I barely be here. And she's like, what you mean by that? I'm like, Mom, I'm working almost 12 hours a day, give or take. Well, not 12 hours, but like I'm basically gone all day. So like, I would leave at like 2 in the afternoon, and I wouldn't get back home until like 3. So almost 13 hours a day gone, okay? Give or take. It just depends on what time I wanted to get to work. Anywhere between 2 and 3 I would leave. So then that means I would be gone until 3 in the morning, when it took me almost an hour to get home by walking. And sometimes we wouldn't be even done right at 2. We would still be cleaning for another 30 to 40, give or take. So it would be almost, 3. It would be almost 3:30 we would get out. Or if I was so tired, I would go to Speedway and sit there for 30 minutes to 40 trying to relax my feet and get ready for this walk. So I it was just crazy. Like I could not, for the life of me figure out, you know, this stupidity of I have to clean up when I'm not messing up. I have to do the dishes when I'm not home. I gotta do all this. I gotta, life of me. Um, and so we're talking, and it kind of gets into an argument of it's more like basically I don't want to do anything because I'm not doing this stuff. And then you also have 3 girls who are here who's dirtying stuff up. You have my grandma, not Grandma Kim, my Grandma Debbie. But Grandma Debbie, to be totally honest, she had Alzheimer's, or was it dementia? One of the two. And I couldn't blame her because she was having phases. So, but it's just like this is not working. Plus the simple fact you have a dog in here and a cat that was trashing the house and stuff like that. Or did I get rid of those animals? No, I think I got rid of them. But it was kind of confusing. I can't remember, did I get rid of them right away when I came back 17 or not? But anyways, the house was destroyed and stuff. And so that's what started the argument. But then what continued, do anyone remember How I Met Your Mother and the argument of Marshall and Lily with the dish, right? Marshall didn't want to wash his dish. Lee wanted him to. Basically, they got into a fight. Then they got into a fight over this. They got into a fight over that. They got into a fight over that. But the thing about it is, if you do not quit a fight, like close a fight correctly and like talking about it and be like, oh, okay, come to a genuine understanding with the person you're arguing with, you're going to have the same argument over and over again, okay? So basically, we had the same argument over and over again about different things, but we never ended the argument. So therefore, when we got into the big argument of stupidity, of me and her going back and forth. It was basically an argument of all of our other arguments combined as well. And that was lovely. And so we got into it, blah, 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 still going at it. And it's just like, okay, like what you want me to do? This argument is what this argument about. I'm not gonna clean up for messing up. I'm not even in the house really. I'm in my room 24/7 because I'm either sleeping or playing the game. We're talking about this. We're arguing about this. We're all this, and out of nowhere, like it goes left real quick, like just completely left, and it was like it was no way to stop this train from going left. And she mentioned something about me. About I forgot what she said, but I felt like it was a low blow, and I don't like really when people talk crap about me, low blow or not. And also I don't like it when you're supposed to be my family, but you hit a nerve of mine. So I kind of went under the belt too, and I said the reason why you're hold on the reason why you was so hard on me and my two older brothers is because you haven't forgave our fathers for treating you so wrong. And at the end of the day, it wasn't the right way to say it, but I said it. And then I might have added the part of, actually, I did add the part because I remember what she said afterwards. But I added the part, that's what my counselor thinks. And so, as soon as I said that, it was on and popping, because the next words that was out of her mouth, and this was crazy. The next words that was out of her mouth was, "If you don't like these rules," and I'm quoting her exactly, "if you do not like these rules, you can get the fuck out of my house." And so the out of my house really resonated with me. And the reason why I'm pausing right here is because I gotta clarify why it resonated with me. It resonated with me because I've been gone. Okay, so I was gone for almost a year. Okay, I only came home from boarding school and Job Corps a few times. Okay, but other than that, I was at either boarding school or Job Corps. And so when I got done from boarding school, it was May. By June, I was already in Job Corps. I wasn't even home for 3 weeks. I was already in Job Corps. So it was crazy. And so the time I went home, it was 2018. No, it was 2017. Wait. Yeah, 2017. 2017 Thanksgiving, the year before all this started happening, I came home to my room being taken over by my mom. She threw a table in there. She did all this. It was a prayer mat, not a prayer mat, but like just different religious things, Bibles, all this stuff. And I was like, this ain't how my room was left. She's like, oh yeah, I know, but I decided to make it into a little workshop. Then I go around the side and it's like taco shells and different things. And I'm like, what the heck happened? She's like, oh, I think Julio was in there eating or something. I'm like, why was she in my room? She's like, well, I mean, she was in your room. I'm like, okay. Then I look for my stuff and I'm like, where's my stuff at? And it was upstairs in my sister's room. I'm like, why is my stuff in there? She's like, well, I don't know. And it was just like basically my room door was, I locked it before I left. Um, and I thought it would stay locked. No, no, it did not stay locked. They was allowed to get in it. They was allowed to do everything they wanted in there. And I couldn't do nothing about it. And so Christmas, the same thing. And like those two vacations, it was hard for me to sleep in my room. It was hard for me to be there. It was really hard. I went back for Christmas, but it was hard. So those 2 days was those two vacations was hard. Then fast forward back to the moment she told me, if you don't like these rules, you can get the fuck out of my house. It just, I came home from boarding school. I came home from Job Corps. It did not feel like home anymore. It did not feel like I was welcome there anymore. That's my feelings. And it was that. And then she also added, um, so after she said that, I said, fine, you know what, you want to kick me out? And I can get the fuck out too. So, and then right when I was walking away, she said, you can also tell your counselor to kiss my mixed ass. And that conversation, I was like, God damn. You mad at the lady that much you told her to kiss your ass? And not just your ass, your mixed ass? It was a very, very confusing and funny ass moment when she said that, because I was like walking away and I'm trying to like not laugh, but I'm feeling hysterically, feeling badly because I'm smirking like a mother, and it was just crazy. And so I'm packing up my stuff, and I called grandma, and I said, quote unquote, is that office still available for me to move in? And she said yes. I said, okay, cool. I will be there later tonight, dropping this stuff out. And so I did. But before I was like doing that, my auntie, she was in there trying to calm me down, tell me, wait before you move, all this, you're making a huge mistake and stuff. And I said, it doesn't feel that way. It feels like I just need to get out. I love my mom, but this ain't working anymore. This ain't the truth. Like, this ain't going nowhere. I'm sorry. So I ended up moving out to my grandma's house, and it was way better. My grandma, like my grandma understood where I was coming from. At first, we had some issues, but it was because I was young and immature, but I understood where my grandma was coming from. And like the difference the difference of it. Okay. So like one, I was allowed to have a key to the house. Like my mom wouldn't let me get a key. Like it was kind of weird, but I didn't have a key to my mom's house. And so what she would do is leave the back door unlocked, and I would do this. But yeah, I didn't have a key to the house. I remember being locked out a few times. I'd have to knock or call someone or bang on a window or climb through a window. A few different times I climbed through a window. So I didn't have a key to the house. It was hard. Another scenario was I couldn't have no one at the house. That was hard. And then also I couldn't be out. So like one thing was I couldn't go out and about with my friends or with certain people. Um, and then another thing is like my mom would always wonder where I'm at. Like I remember I was getting a ride. Uh, like it was a guy. He gave me a ride to this girl's house. My mom was like, I was heading over, like she picked me up from work, and we're heading there. She's like, why can't I give you a ride? I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not finna let you screw me over. Basically, like, if I'm gonna mess something up, I'd rather me mess it up than you mess it up for me. And so it's like, because like my mom always been like so much of, not a cock blocker, but yeah, basically, uh, just like she would ask the girls questions that shouldn't be asked, stuff, intruding on my privacy. And my grandma didn't do that. Like my grandma, my grandma didn't care if I brought home a woman that was a stripper. She didn't give a fuck. The only rule my grandma had is respect. As long as they respected her house, respected her, and respected the people inside, she did not give a crap. So that's how I feel. But like I said, my grandma been my rock since day one. Day one. And she always told me I can come home and be safe anytime. That is where I go to be safe. That's where I go to stay safe. Even though we have had our differences, I'm still I'm still there being safe. I'm still here feeling safe. But that is it. Um, thank you guys for listening, and see you guys later. Deuces.